This show is all about main character energy.
You are listening to the Fatima Scipio Show.
You have the opportunity to do something really big.
Get ready for real conversations, real laughter, and real inspiration.
Hey, beautiful people, welcome to the show. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Fatima Scipio Show. I am so glad you're here. Welp, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Where are my football girlies? And who will you be rooting for? So, if you didn't know, Puckstawini Phil apparently saw his shadow announcing 6 more weeks of winter. First of all, who named the groundhog Puckstawini? Puckstawini, okay? Look, I don't know about you, Puckstawini, but I need spring to hurry up, quick, because it's way too cold and I don't like it. So listen, I don't know if you saw this online, but recently there was a public arguing going on between GloRilla and one of her sisters. It was all the blogs, right? For those of you who do not know, Glo is a female rapper who came on the scene in 2022 with her hit single FNF. Look, I'm a fan of hip hop and rap, so I do make it a point to know what's happening in the hip hop culture. Usually, I wouldn't comment on other people's families' issues because in truth, it's none of my business. But while the internet tuned in to the online drama, I saw something deeper. Just to give background to the story, GloRilla's sister publicly shared information about Glo not supporting the family financially. She talked about how their mom was still working at FedEx and she's just feeling like Glo should be doing more for the mom and her other siblings. I think it's about 10 of them. They have a big family. On one social media platform, the comments immediately jumped to Glo's defense. Many saying Glo doesn't owe her family anything. Excuse me. On another platform, the comments argued when you make it out, you're supposed to help those you left behind. And for me, looking at the back and forth between the sisters, this is just my observation. I saw pressure. I saw expectations, whether they are realistic or unrealistic. I saw family pain literally playing out in the public. And it got me to wondering, what happens when you succeed? And suddenly everyone feels entitled to your success. And then I thought, how many people are living in this, like having this same story going on, but it's just happening in private? So today, we're having that conversation. But before we do, where are my lifetime snobs? Did you see Be Happy, the show on Lifetime? It was executive produced by my girl Mary J. Blanche, and directed by Gabrielle Sabiti. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Actors included Russell Hornsby, the funny Tisha Campbell, and Mackay Pfeiffer. But wait a minute, come closer. When I tell you I used to have the biggest crush on him back in the day, cha 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 cha. So, anywho, the movie is about Val. She's played by Tisha Campbell, who faces being an empty nester. She has her husband, who's played by Russell Hornsby. He's distant, and she's leading, or she's on her journey to self-discovery and transformation. And when I tell you, I felt so many different feelings watching this movie. As an empty nester, I too am on a path to relearning who I am outside of being a wife and a mother. And it's a true journey of reconnecting with myself, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't want to spoil it, but if you haven't watched it, I'm giving you until next Saturday to watch it, because next week it's the big conversation. So be ready, be there, or be square. Okay. So this is a new dance trend on TikTok. I don't know how many of you are on TikTok, but TikTok is very entertaining. But it's a new TikTok dance to the king of pops, MJ himself, Liberian Girl. And baby, I love it. It's a majorette routine, and look, I'm practicing my little 8 counts because look, this dance is fun. It's so much fun. And so stay tuned for my video because it's now on my new cardio routine. Speaking of cardio, February is Heart Health Month, and I read an article that I wanted to share with you today. The article said your heart doesn't just power your body, it also helps protect your brain. And so this was an article that came out, it was recently produced, published from Harvard Health researchers. So basically, they're finding that the health of your heart and blood vessels, they're directly connected to how your brain ages. When your arteries are damaged by things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and poor diet, it doesn't just affect your heart, it also affects the blood flow to your brain. And over a period of time, that can increase the risk of memory loss. They talked about cognitive decline and even dementia. And so, what I found, what's powerful is this: the same habits that help prevent heart disease are the same habits that help protect your mind. Habits like, moving your body regularly, getting in that 10-minute, 30-minute, hour. Some people, it depends, whatever your thing is, but making sure that you're moving your body regularly. I don't know, if you are working from an office space or if you're at home, but either way, you got to start moving. And I'm talking to myself too. I try to be intentional about how often I'm moving. And I do know they have, again, this is not a plug, I don't even know the brand, but they have this a walking treadmill that you can put under your desk for those of you who are in any office, even if it's your home office, you can use it. So you want to make sure you move regularly, as I shared, eating more fruits, vegetables, and whole foods, making sure you're getting quality sleep. And now look, I can sleep on 6 hours. I know some people who need a full 8 hours. But you want it. The whole point is to make sure that your body is being rested, is getting the rest that it needs. You want to make sure that you have habits of managing your stress. And also, they talked about staying socially connected. Now, I know, again, in this age of technology and social media, everybody is looking in their phones, but it's always cool to kind of get off the screen, step away from the phone, sir, step away, and ma'am, and get out there and start connecting with people. And obviously, avoiding smoking and excessive drinking. The article makes it very clear that brain health isn't, something you start thinking about when you're older. It's something you build every day with, the small choices that add up over time. And so, whether you are in your 20s, your 40s, or beyond, like me, darling, this message is for you. Look at, look at it this way: taking care of your heart today is definitely an investment in your future clarity, in your confidence, and your overall quality of life. So, in other words, when you protect your heart, you're protecting purpose, you're protecting memories, and your ability to keep showing up strong for yourself, for the people and dreams that matter most to you. So make sure you're doing your part and keep your heart healthy. Valentine's Day is next week. What are y'all doing? Let me know in the comments. I'm all um I'm all ready for my gifts. Okay. But I'm gonna tell my husband to pick me up a case of Pepsi Zero sugar and wrap it with a bow because it's my new favorite. And no, this is not an ad, but I really, really, really love it. It's so good. I am a Pepsi. I love to drink Pepsi, and so I'm on this no sugar plan. And I came across the Pepsi Black zero sugar, and when I tell you, it gives me that kick that I need. It gives me that, that those who drink Pepsi know exactly what I'm talking about. It does it justice. So I did a whole TikTok commercial for it. That's how much I like it. Anywho, can I be transparent? Look, I'm big on family. I have a big family, and shout out to my family, my immediate family and my extended family, who are extremely supportive of me, and I'm very blessed and grateful. So I believe family is the backbone of our strength and our values, our resilience. I believe the family foundation shapes who we are and how we rise. As I shared, I have a team behind me who really, really go in, and I'm talking about blood family and friends who have become my family. They are my family. And so I believe it's when it's rooted in love and stability that the family foundation can make anybody truly unstoppable. So when I saw the back and forth with GloRilla, the rapper out of Memphis, and her sister, it stirred something in me. It stirred something up in me. I don't know either of these girlies, right? But I hate to see sisters fighting, especially so publicly. And it got me to wondering, what happens when you succeed and suddenly the people around you feel entitled to your success? And then I wondered, how many people are living this same story, but just in private? Let me tell you something. This situation between Glow and her sister or siblings, it's not new. It's been happening for generations. Even in scripture, we see it. Take, for example, the story about Joseph. For those of you who are not familiar with the story of Joseph, he was sold by his brothers into slavery. He was young, gifted, and full of dreams. Joseph was a dreamer, a visionary, but his own brothers didn't celebrate him. They felt threatened by him, intimidated by his potential, uncomfortable with his growth and how he spoke boldly about his dreams. I mean, he made no mistake. He knew he was going to be in a position of power. So instead of supporting him, they turned on him and plotted to get rid of him. And years later, when Joseph became second in charge next to the king, when he had influence, when he had resources, the same brothers who doubted him, the same brothers who sold him into slavery and hurt him, needed him at a time when famine hit the land. Joseph was in charge of whether or not people could get the food. And, their behavior and actions toward their brother Joseph showed an underlying issue that I believe still shows up today in many families. So, yeah, different faces, different, uh, you know, generations, obviously, but the same emotions. So, let's talk about the real issue. because it's rarely ever just about money or favoritism. Many times it's about fear, insecurity. Maybe there's some comparisons going on. Who knows? She's walking, around where she lives, and uh, people are comparing her to GloRilla. Maybe it's unhealed wounds, and maybe a feeling of being left behind. Sometimes, in my opinion, some family members, I don't think that they're necessarily thinking you owe me. I said some, and I said my opinion. But I think they're thinking, whether they admit it or not, that they're scared. And as it relates to Glow and her sister, I can only imagine the sister, you know, turning on social media every time she's on the blog, she sees something about her sister's life, her success, and maybe, just maybe, she's wondering, what about me? Could she be thinking, I'm scared you'll forget me? I mean, they grew up together, right? Could she be thinking, I'm scared I won't make it? Or I'm scared I'll be stuck while you're soaring? And again, I don't know. And I'm not saying Glow is responsible for how her sister feels. I'm just kind of looking at it through a different lens. But in my opinion, entitlement in some situations is often fear in disguise. And when fear isn't healed, now where my social worker girlies at? When fear isn't healed, it comes out as pressure. You know, when you are considered the successful one in your family, there's a lot of weight that comes with it. And if that's you, you know the weight. You know you're the hope, the example. In some situations, you're the safety net. Maybe you're the backup plan. You're on everybody's emergency contact list. And sometimes you feel like you're not allowed to rest. You may feel like you're not allowed to struggle or have problems or say no or even enjoy what you've built. You may feel as if people always need something from you or they're watching your pockets. They often say, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And I see people accepting that so graciously, and it's nothing wrong with it. We get it. I get it. But just because you can wear it or carry it doesn't mean you're supposed to or you have to. Now, let's be clear. Helping family is beautiful. In fact, it's honorable. It's powerful. But there's a difference between helping and enabling. Healthy support says, I want you to grow. Harmful support says, okay, I'll keep you comfortable. You ain't got to do nothing. I'm going to do it all. Healthy support builds skills. Harmful support builds dependence. You're the crutch. Joseph helped his family, but he didn't let them stay stuck. He helped them survive and prepare. So if you are that person in your family, ask yourself this: am I empowering them or just rescuing them? There's a way, to set boundaries with love, you know, but what I will say, in my opinion, is boundaries are where so many people struggle. I mean, do you agree? Could it be that GloRilla's boundaries caused her sister to think she doesn't love her? Who knows? For me, when I set boundaries, it's because I not only love you, but I love myself too. If you are dealing with a similar situation in your family, Let me give you some tips or language that can potentially help you when setting boundaries. So, oftentimes, we know when, family members come for support, sometimes they like, hey, can I borrow a couple of dollars? Can you, co sign a loan for me? First, you have to assess your own situation. And, then you can say something like this: I love you, and this is what I can do for you. Or you can say, I love you, and this is what I cannot do for you. That's not rejection, that's leadership. Boundaries shouldn't be viewed as walls. They're guardrails. And we all should have guardrails. No? So, how can you help your family members go from survival to stability? I believe with everything we do, it starts with a shift in the mindset. Right now, with everything going on across the country, there are so many families in survival mode, crisis after crisis. People are really just trying to figure things out. And some people are looking at their pockets feeling like they'll never make ends meet. I get it. And if GloRilla's sister is in crisis mode and she's watching her sister excel and soar, her frustration about her situation makes GloRilla a target of that frustration, in my opinion. That sounds like a rap, right? Bars. um, the shift from survival to stability requires intentionality, because helping your family does not mean breaking yourself. Okay? Let's be very clear about that. It does not mean emptying your savings. It does not mean living in anxiety. It means helping with strategy. And so here are three ways that you can do that. And you can do it with love and boundaries. So, first, consider investing in skills, not just the situation. So, instead of always fixing emergencies, maybe you can ask, what will help you in the long term? And for the long term, it could mean maybe you would pay for a certification for them to upskill themselves, like learn a new skill so that they can go for better employment opportunities. Maybe, in the same vein, it's covering a class for them. They want to, again, upskill themselves. Maybe it's they decided that they have a wonderful idea. They're a dreamer like Joseph, and they want to start their own business. So maybe it's supporting a business license, but really essentially helping with tools, giving them the tools that they need to be successful and not just paying for bills. That's not being cold. Again, that's leadership. You're basically saying, I believe in your ability to stand on your own 2 feet, and I want to help you do that. Secondly, you want to set a support structure. Like, this is not an open tab where you just, swipe, 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 and let's go. No, love doesn't mean unlimited access. I'm going to say that again. Love doesn't mean unlimited access. So for you, you have to decide in advance, how much can you give, how often, and what purposes are you willing to support, and basically stick to it. And you don't have to feel any guilt about it, because you've already set up the support structure where you lay out the expectations. And so basically what that can sound like is, maybe you tell them, I can help with rent for 3 months while you get stable. So one is giving them a time frame. Like, look, this is what I'm going to help you with, but in 3 months after that, you're going to have to figure it out for yourself. Maybe you can say, I can contribute to tuition but not the lifestyle. So yeah, I'll help pay for the tuition, but I'm not gonna be able to help you decorate your dorm room or whatever that is. And what that does is that protects your peace, your pockets, and your purpose. Third, you can teach ownership, not dependence. So every time you help, you can ask a question like, again, how is this going to move you forward? Okay. Maybe it's sitting down with them and working a budget together. Maybe it's reviewing their goals. Maybe you have a stand in time with them where you sit down with them to develop those goals. Usually people start doing that around January, the beginning of the year, or even September. So maybe that's something that can be done. Maybe you can connect them to resources. So maybe it's not anything financially, but you can connect them to a resource. But make sure they're ready, because when you do make connections or do networking and connect them to people now your name and your integrity is on the line. So you want to make sure they are ready for those types of connections. You want to make sure you hold them accountable. Everybody needs an accountability partner, everybody. And so maybe you can be that accountability partner for them. Listen, Joseph didn't just feed people, he created systems. He stored resources, he planned ahead, he taught strategy, he taught them how to prepare. And that's legacy. What Joseph did, that's generational thinking, and that's the type of mindset we need when we're working and talking with our own families. And let me say this clearly: boundaries that honor your integrity are never selfish. Never. They are sustainable. You cannot build generational strength on personal burnout. So you don't ran around, did all this, poured your money and did all these things, and now you are burnt out from doing all of that. You know, helping should never cost you your future. Okay? You don't want to put yourself on the line that's going to cost you your freedom or your future. It should basically multiply your future. This is the mindset needed for family sustainability. And I believe this wholeheartedly if real progress is to be made. And hear me out. This only works when ego and pride are put aside. Real love, real family love, it doesn't just solve what's happening today and at this moment. It prepares for tomorrow. It teaches money. It teaches discipline. It teaches vision. It says, I'm not just giving you fish, bro or sis. I'm teaching you how to fish. And let me leave you with this. You, the successful one, are allowed to rise. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to love your family, whether it's close or whether it's distant. You're allowed to do that without losing yourself. Like Joseph, you can forgive, you can give, you can grow, and still honor your purpose. You weren't blessed to be drained, you were blessed to lead. So ask yourself, am I giving from guilt or from wisdom? Am I shrinking or standing strong? Because your success is stewardship. And when you manage it all well, everybody wins. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on the Fatima Scipio Show.